Hello everyone, I'm James Marcuso. This is a response video for the week 7 video assignment on the media. So much to say about this, but I'll try to keep it short. As much as I'd like to, we'll not talk about social media, but there's a lot to be said. When it comes to the media as we traditionally understand it, right, we have initially the newspaper, then we had radio, and then we had television. And we had this combination of radio, television, and newspaper. And as technology increased, newspaper became less, radio and television, and also computer became much broader. And it's changed over time, also in its just how it behaved. Traditionally, there was a very strong connection between the government and the media, and that was partly beneficial because it allowed us to have access to the ideas, thoughts, words, plans, behaviors, right, of the government. But there was also a lot of collusion between the government and the media when it came to war propaganda. For example, World War II is a great example, but also World War I and Korea. Vietnam is where that sort of that decoupling really happened. There was different standards of behavior and professionalism in media that have kind of gone by the wayside. People are much more animated. There's a lot more editorial and opinion, which is decidedly a negative thing because, right, news used to be news. It was kind of boring, kind of dry. It was interesting because it was telling you about what was happening in the world so that you could be informed about what to do. Now, there are a disappointing number of Americans that have fallen into the traps of Fox, CNN, or MSNBC. These 24-hour news networks, right, are not there to inform you. They're there to manipulate you and to scare you, right? You get the same information over and over and over, pointing to the same villains, and it's garbage. It is just garbage. It's bad for you. You're going to have to go and either, find podcasts that you find people to be legitimate. Reuters, AP, Al Jazeera. These are, I know Al Jazeera, right? You might not expect it. These are news sources that actually generate news from the source and not from this editorial in a New York studio. So those are ways you could get around all the manipulation and obfuscation. Be aware when you're consuming news, how much descriptive language are they using, right? An author in a storybook wants to paint a picture, wants you to feel a certain way when you walk into a room or a forest or a building or a whatever. They want to paint a picture so that you feel immersed in this environment and you have a feeling about what the character is doing in that environment. That's not what the news is supposed to do, but they do that a lot. So if you're getting a lot of adverbs and adjectives and description that encourage you to feel a certain way about this story or this behavior or this character, you're being manipulated. And you shouldn't like it. Unless you don't mind being manipulated. I don't like it. So it's really hard to find good information. You have to go to multiple sources. You have to compare and contrast. Sometimes you have to trust your bullshit meter. Right? Sometimes it goes off and you should listen. If you feel like this news story is just preaching the gospel, right, and you're the choir, be careful. You've been spending too much time in an echo chamber. If you are listening to a story and everything the story is telling you is just flat wrong and is this is an example of all the problems that we have, likewise, same problem, right? If you spend too much time on Fox, you're going to have a hard time consuming other types of news that aren't really right-leaning. If you spend too much time on CNN or MSNBC, you're going to have a hard time reading the Wall Street Journal. Spending time in those echo chambers, those radical left or right echo chambers, causes you to be polarized, and this is why we have such bad tribalization in our society. Again, I would talk more about social media, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. Protect yourself. Be aware. Be a savvy, smart news consumer. And don't let yourself be manipulated because there are a lot of people out there that are trying to do it. Good luck.